welcome to my channel. My name is Brianne Beebe. I am a teacher business owner and I own the TPT store Busy Miss Beebe. And I wanted to talk about batching for teacherpreneurs because I keep seeing a question pop up in all kinds of Facebook groups with teacherpreneurs, and it's just, how do I batch? And so when teacherpreneurs first started talking about batching, a lot of them were saying, well, I do all my blogging on Mondays, all of my social media on Tuesdays, etc. And that's not what blogging is. That's just having like a themed day or like a scheduled day to do different things, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, that's not batching. Batching is when you take a task and you break it down into its components and you make each component a step and you go and repeat that step for multiple, let's say, projects. So let's take blogging, for example. I have to have this in front of me, but this is my digital teacher planner. Along the bottom where I have like a checklist of what to do, that's secretly like how I batch. So I come up with ideas, and the first thing that you really need to have to start batching is a time frame. You could decide to batch something for a full week, for a full month, for a full quarter. It doesn't really matter what you choose, but you need to have like a time frame, because otherwise you could be batching blog posts and be like trying to do it for the rest of your life. So to keep it realistic and to keep it moving, you give yourself a time frame. So I do my blog posts for a quarter at a time, which might sound like a lot, but I blog bi-weekly. So that really means like 6 or 7 posts. My first step is to just come up with ideas about what I would want to blog about for that quarter and the dates. Like, what date would I want that post to go up? So that's just one step, and I do it for all my blog posts. Then I do my keyword research, and I do keyword research on every single blog post before I move on to the next thing. And that's what makes it batching, is I'm doing all the keyword research at once for all the blog posts. Then my next step is to come up with titles, again, for every blog post before I move on to the next thing, which would be doing outlines. Once I get through my outlines, I will go in and draft, and just draft, do nothing else. Which is hard because you tend to want to edit as you draft, but this is where batching really comes in handy. When you stay in one lane, so when I'm only drafting, my brain is in drafting mode. If I stop and start editing a post as I'm drafting it, I'm now in editing mode, which is a different lane for your brain, and it has to switch. So every time you switch from doing one task to another, your brain needs a moment to catch up. And if you're going back and forth between two tasks, like drafting and editing, it's going to slow you down. Batching helps you be more efficient, and it actually helps you perform better. So when you've been drafting for a while and you just stay in that lane until you're done with all of your drafts, you actually end up writing better than you would if you were switching back and forth between drafting and editing. So once I have all of my blog posts drafted, I will go in and edit. This definitely needs like time and space in between though. You don't want to edit right after you've drafted. That's when you miss like silly mistakes. So I take my time drafting. I don't draft all 6 blog posts in one day either. Some of these tasks, I will spread them out over a week or at most 2 while I'm working on some of the other things. And that's why when people ask like, what day do you do your batching? It doesn't make sense to me because it's a whole process and you can't batch everything in one day. So it's whenever I get to work on my business, that's when I'm batching whatever it is that I'm on. And once you have this process and these steps, you know what to do next. So once I finish my outlines, I know that my next thing to do is to draft them. So when you're batching, you need to have like a sequence of steps that you're working in. So once you finish one thing, you know it's time for the next. And you know what the next thing is because when you batch, you've sat down and thought about what order things need to happen in. So for example, with blogging, I wouldn't want to create my images before I've drafted my content. Sometimes you just, start blogging and drafting and you get ideas and maybe go off on like a tangent or something. As long as it still incorporates your keywords, it's fine. But that might mean that you need different images than you would have thought of originally. So once I edit my blog posts, that's when I create my images. And then after editing, I always draft in Google Docs because I love their spell check and grammar check. I find that it works best than anything else I've used. I will copy and paste it into WordPress, and that's where I add my links, do my SEO, and then add my images. So I get that done for all my blog posts for a quarter, so when I'm ready to post them, they get posted. I could even schedule them if I wanted to. And that's it. That's how I batch my blog posts. But you could take this batching example and apply it to other things. So I also like to batch TPT products if I'm working within a product line. I could batch social media. I don't yet. I want to. I just need to like sit down and think through my process. That's what's been holding me back. I batch my Facebook group posts and I batch my YouTube videos, which is why if you see my previous video, it's the same day as this one when I filmed it. So I'm wearing the same shirt. I haven't changed anything. I just started a new video. So that's everything I have for you on batching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and have a fabulous day.